All right, guys. So I put the interview. This is an interview that was just done about 7 days ago. It's with Cowboy Herman and with Terrence Burney. And you may not know this, but the charity was performing for years, literally right at the Marathon store. That's where it was. And or in that area where the old Marathon was. That's where they were, one of the old shops. I'm talking, we see greatness in you. So imagine feeding the homeless, doing your preparation. The whole foundation is down there. So when some of you may know what I'm talking about, some of you may not. I used to live in LA, and when we lived in LA, one thing I can tell you is Nipsey Hussle, that was his stage name, literally, he was actually Eritrean, which is African, right? And so you may not know this, but Mara had a shop there in LA that wasn't far from the Marathon store himself. So they knew each other. It was actually in the same basic area, right there by Slauson. And so for those that haven't been to LA and don't know what Slauson is, on the other side of that is USC. So you're pretty much in the heart of the city if you're going down Slauson. And unfortunately, Nipsey Hussle was tragically murdered. So not only was he a rap artist, but he was a philanthropist in his actual community and a builder. He was rebuilding in that area. And these are the dangers of not having real, true communal support. And what I mean by that is, yes, he had tons of support. He had changed his life. He used to be in the gangs and used to be a Rolling 60 Crip. And many of you probably, you probably don't know this, but when I say I'm MC Hammer's cousin, he also was a Rolling 60 Crip in the Bay Area. And so one thing that I used to do, and I shared this with you before, but I might as well bring it home so you can comprehend it. My father was no tough guy, but my father didn't back down either. And so my father was the one that would get many of my family members out of jail and really, when I say lay hands on them till they recover, knock some sense into them till they got to the point where I mean, seriously, he would, in order to get a whipping from my dad, just so you knew, you were going to get preached to too. That was part of my father's thing. And what that grew up in me was this strength that you don't back down, even though you may, fear some of the activity that the people do. If you live in that neighborhood, that's your neighborhood. And these are some of the truths that, what do pastors do when they pastor a church in the area? What should they do? They shouldn't run if they got real Jesus, right? And they got the real presence of God, because these are lifelong ambitions, meaning if I die doing what I'm doing for the sake of the cross, then just so be it, right? And so then you have myself, and I've always been in both areas, meaning I didn't live in the hood, but I also didn't avoid the hood either. And so anyone who will, let them come, who wants to get their lives right. And that is the message that they're giving on the interview. So if you take some time, it becomes different. When you're watching it on the news, it becomes one thing. It's the news is narrative and all that. But when you're actually ministering to these guys, and I've done prison ministry, honestly, for years, and it's a different deal because you have a chance to make a different level of impact. And I think sometimes we forget we are the church, the household of faith of God. We say we believe, but when it comes time to hit those streets and actually make sure that message gets through, it's not just preaching over them a couple of messages or the road to salvation. Now it's the same thing that Jesus said. When you go to someone and they're hungry, feed them first. You have to feed them food, earthly food, because their flesh is hurting. They're not going to hear your story about Christ and you talking about the love of Christ, but you're not showing a reflection of the love of Christ. It's not happening. And so that's what's different and unique about me, is I'm not fearful of any of it. I want everyone to come and to bow before the mighty presence of God, the same presence that changed me, the same presence that gave me hope, the same presence that has allowed me not to be a menace in the streets, but a good man in heart and deed. And these are the reasons why people hurt me so bad, because I'm like, we don't really have to be dog eat dog. We really can do it together. We really can collaborate and build and encourage. And if you can't do something good, then don't do anything at all. Leave it alone. You don't even earn the right to comment if you're not out there doing something. So that's just something to think about. Yes, I do a lot of community activism. Yes, I'm there. My thing is more to put the pressure on the politician than it is just to vote. You know, if all you do is cast your vote, but then you don't keep them in line, that's on you. But this is our community. This is for us. And this is for Jesus. And this is for our end, our legacy. I want little Aria to say, you know what? My grandfather wasn't no joke. I don't know what you're looking for, but that makes my heart smile. God bless. Love you to life. And we'll see you on the other side. Take a chance. Take some time. Listen. Do some research on the foundation and some of the things that Nipsey Hussle was doing. When I lived in LA, he was making all kinds of impact. You know, he was cooperating, when I say cooperating with the police on community activities and things of that nature. So my question becomes to you, do you really want to see people rehab, or do you just want to talk about them? God bless.